Rodgers. He's 92. He got ranked the 92nd best player last
He
season.
didn't even play.
His highlights are him running the flag out. Legit on NFL's thing.
That's hilarious. That's actually hilarious.
Talk about a highlight.
Welcome back to your favorite couch potatoes. As you can tell, a very special edition, baby. We're in St. Geezy together. Let's freaking go. And then, obviously, yes, you remember us. I'm your host, Kyle Jacobs, and this is Feisty, Big Country, and Hunter from Mother Freaking Talbot coming to join us today. So let's go. Let's just pop right into it. Feist, I saw that you put something in about a streaming thing? I haven't heard.
Yeah, boys, we got some big news coming up. Actually, I'm really excited for this. It's called Venue Sports, so it's gonna be basically an all sports streaming service. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna have ESPN, they're gonna have NFL, NBA, NHL. All that crap. So it's going to be a streaming service, $42, and it's literally just all sports. And the cool part of it is too. I wrote this down actually. Let me tell you, NASCAR.
Hell yeah!
It's also going to be in there. So WNBA, like I said, ESPN 30 for 30 is going to be on there, and then a few other things. They're going to have ESPN 1, ESPN 2, ESPNU, SEC Network, ACC. ESPN News, ABC, Fox, Fox 1, Fox 2, Big Ten Network, TNT, TBS, True TV, and ESPN Plus.
Jesus.
So it's going to be amazing because I don't know about you guys. I've been wanting something like this for like the longest time where it's just sports. Like I've had TV, you guys have had TV. You're like, I hate watching all these extra stuff, paying for all this extra stuff. I want something that's just sports, and so this package deal would be amazing.
It makes me wonder how much is actually on it, though. Like if it's just the basics of what's going on, or if it's the full slate. Because I mean, can you get the ticket on there, stuff like that?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't think so because
probably
YouTube
like live
has
TV.
Those rights and
yeah.
whatnot, so I don't think you'll get those like primetime games.
It'd probably just be like the basics. You know what I mean? Like what you could get on like a normal TV.
Other than like the ESPN.
The ESPN and ESPN Plus, like obviously that's probably a deal with the streaming app that they would be able to work out. But yeah, I mean it's obviously you get everything on it sports wise, so sounds like a pretty good deal.
I mean, to me,
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it just seems like that's what we've been looking for, and it's not confirmed yet. It is due to come through on February 6th of next year, but there are some like lawsuits because Fubu or something like that. They're suing because they wanted to do just all sports package and they couldn't get it, and now this is like, oh, and I forgot to mention who's sponsoring actually, boys. Let me tell you real quick who's sponsoring it. So it's ESPN, Fox, and Warner Bros. Discovery.
Oh, they're all going in.
So that's
together.
So that's the big boys, and so that gives me hope because I think then they can increase the price a little bit, even though it's just $42. You could increase it, and I would pay $100. Yeah, I'd pay $100 just to watch only sports because you watch all your movies and everything.
Well, that's like what I do. Is like I just watch sports. Like that's why I love YouTube TV because it has the option where you can just get YouTube TV or like the Sunday Ticket, or you can get the whole thing with YouTube TV or something.
Yeah.
And that's I don't care about that. It's the only reason I buy anything or watch TV pretty much is sports. You know? Everything else is streaming. So that's perfect that they're jumping in on the game. Let's chug right along. Let the Olympics just finish, boys, and we fucking at least tied with China for gold. Both got 40, I think.
Yeah, 40.
And
it's officially over then. Huh?
Yeah, the closing ceremonies were today.
They have the closing ceremony. Yeah, I mean, fucking, I can't believe that we tied with China. I cannot believe we tied with China.
At least we didn't lose, but I mean, we got like freaking 80 more medals than anybody else.
That's
I feel
true.
like silver
That's
and
true.
bronze. We killed it, and we watched all kinds of stuff. I know Scotty Scheffler, he won gold for the USA in golf. We watched like remember that women's 4x4 I think last night or 2 nights ago where
Smoked
it wasn't
everybody.
even close. She was like a
Yeah.
whole straightaway ahead,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to think of other things.
The big disaster, the 4x1 for the U.S. team. I'm not sure what happened there. The baton handoff was terrible. We talked about this offline actually. We were like, what happened? And some of the stuff that came out was that they reordered everything, so they didn't just change the anchor because it was supposed to be originally Noah Lyles, but since he got sick with COVID, they switched out, and so they reordered everything, and it just messed up everything. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And this is the 5th or 4th year now where the U.S.
Where we
either
got
disqualified or we just didn't win anything.
Didn't medal at
Didn't
all.
make it. Yeah. So,
I don't know how you can fuck up a handoff at the Olympic level for Team USA of all
Yeah.
things. Like,
Regardless of
even
the
if
order.
you did, still a handoff. I get if you don't win or you don't do as great as you could have because Lyles is a dog, but that was sucked. But we still got the most golds, most medals, best country in the world by far.
USA.
Let's
It was like what, 122 to 90 or something like that for the medal count between us and China.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were way ahead. So we'll get into the basketball a little bit later, but let's keep going. Let's get into the NFL, boys. I don't know if you guys had heard now, but the NFL has made it even more difficult to recover an onside kick now, which it never gets recovered anyways, like barely. And they added more rules to it, made it harder, like what, 2-3 years ago?
I wonder what the percentage recovery of it before this happened, because I feel like every year almost they're adding it and making it harder.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that it was like 0.06%.
Literally, like not even one.
Like, that's literally all it was before. And it's just, I can't believe that they made this harder. And I still, I know preseason's just started.
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen a single clip of the kickoff yet, of the new kickoff. I've not seen a single clip of it yet, so I can't judge that too much. But I didn't like the change on the kickoff anyway, but,
I think it's weird, but I want to say there hasn't been a touchdown yet. I feel like we definitely would have saw some crazy headline about first new kickoff touchdown or whatever.
I think my biggest thing is with the kickoff is that you don't know exactly what's going to happen yet because you're not having the best players, the guys that are running the 4.3, the 4.4 40s, you know what I mean? You don't have those guys out there on the kick return yet. And so you don't know exactly how if this is just going to turn into a touchdown fest with the kickoffs. I could definitely see it turning into that with all the big name guys out there returning the kicks and everything like that.
It makes it easier for them now.
I think
with
so.
these rules?
I mean, if you're running a 4.40 or a 4.40 and you got a 30-yard head start before any blockers, you know what I mean? What
are the big changes they made to it?
Everybody's close together, I think within 5 yards of each other, except for the 1 or 2 kick returners and then the kicker. And you're not supposed to be able to move until the ball's kicked. I heard that people kind of cheat that just a bit, get a step in before or something like that. And the biggest thing is it's going to really mostly eliminate touchbacks. Because I think that if you get a touchback now, it goes out to the 30. A lot of people are saying that the teams might still just do it. They should have pushed it to the 35, and then teams really wouldn't have done touchbacks.
Yeah.
And then there's also a landing zone. I can't remember if it's the first 20 yards or something, but if you don't hit it in there and it's not a touchback for whatever reason, then you go to the 40. How you kick it out of, if you kick it out of bounds, you go to the 40, same thing, basically. Okay. So I think that's the main thing, and you can have 2 returners as an option, I think.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, right? Because it's almost a 30-yard head start, because I believe they have to line up on the 45, which is where the onside kick line is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be different, but We'll have to see. I think less touchbacks is going to be. At least we're going to have something because like it was the first Super Bowl without a kick return or something ever.
Yeah.
So,
and I think the biggest thing the NFL wants to do is sell, right? Like entertainment sells, and so they should keep the game going a little bit more, keep it more entertaining,
and it's supposed to be safer too. Like
money.
that's why everybody's lined up together, so you're not getting running head starts at each other.
Less 20-mile-an-hour head starts.
Collisions.
Yeah. I mean, and I get it, but like I said, I think we'll have to see how it goes in the season.
Yeah.
I think that's the big deal.
I think a lot of players and stuff and former players, everybody around the game too, is get like, you got to keep people safe and everything. It's a dangerous sport, but at the same time, it is a dangerous sport, and everybody signs up to do it, willingly. And so don't take away the game of football. Like, it's violent for a reason. So
Sure.
Yeah. Speaking more of some players, we got some big name contracts going off.
Again,
Big name
more.
contracts, boys. Buccaneers offensive tackle Tristan Wirfs agrees to a 5-year, $140.6 million contract extension with $88.24 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history.
Wow.
Dog got his money, got his bag, dude.
I mean,
holy shit.
Let me ask you guys this though: how much is the tackle in San Francisco?
Trent Williams.
How much
was
is
the
he
highest?
How much is he worth? Because he's looking for a
I
contract.
think he's the
extension
best
now,
too. I think the problem with, not like he's slowing down or anything, but I think he's like 36. I would guess
35 right
Tristan
now. 35.
Wirfs is probably younger, I would guess.
26, 20.
Maybe he still gets like, it was 140 something million, you said?
Yep.
Well, over 5 years. Quick math, we're so great. I don't know, that's like 20 something, 30 something.
Yeah.
I could see you maybe getting him, like he gets more, but maybe like a 2-year deal or something.
Yeah. I mean, and the biggest thing for me is like, you guys have heard me say this many, many times, build that wall to help your quarterback, your running back out. And the famous Cowboys, the famous Eagles, like they all have had these great offensive line. So this is no other.
The only difference is the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl.
Don't matter.
Cowboys.
Don't matter.
No, I was going to say though,
matter.
on this podcast, we do love the trenches, and the trenches are always key in football. You always got to build the trenches. All the best teams in football history have had some of the best offensive lines.
Right. Yep.
So I do think that this is a good signing for the Bucs. I know that they just signed Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Who else did they sign this year? They signed the safety Antoine Winfield.
Yeah, I think he's the highest paid safety in NFL history too.
The Bucs are giving out some contracts right now, but they're locking down those key players that I think is definitely going to help with their success going forward.
Definitely makes me think that it's going to be an even tougher year for your Saints, buddy. If Tristan Wirfs is coming around, I don't think you're going to get to Baker.
I would have liked us to pick up Baker when him and Carr were both agents. I would have much rather had Baker, I think.
Of course.
That's the big thing too, right? That's the big thing too, is that everybody was shitting on Baker.
Yeah, but I've always liked him. Even on the Browns, I think
he won a playoff game for the Cleveland Browns. Like, nobody else has done that in 20-something years.
I was really surprised.
Shipped him out of town.
Yeah.
As soon as he won a playoff game for the Browns, they shipped him out. I was like, I just don't understand the logic there. And then they signed Deshaun Watson to a $250 million
fully guaranteed
contract for
like what the it's the Browns though. I can't it's the Browns though.
This contract was fully guaranteed.
Fully guaranteed, every single dollar of it. I think other owners were like pissed at the Cleveland owner for doing that too.
Basically, he got his bag and said,
"Why would you have to play it?
I don't have to play,
especially if it's fully guaranteed. No incentives, no nothing."
You don't have to play snap. That's crazy.
He's too busy.
What gives you the motivation to then keep playing at that high level? I mean, if it's all guaranteed,
free
right?
massages.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's
Never mind. Let's not go there.
Well, I know that the tackles, the offensive line are really important, but maybe one of the best, most important, besides the quarterback positions, is wide receiver. And DJ Moore, he got a new extension, 4 years, $110 million with 82.6 guaranteed. So I know he was always like good in Carolina,
Yeah.
and I think he really showed he's a number one. So I like this for the Bears, and especially a rookie quarterback with Caleb Williams coming in there.
Yep.
I think locking down a guy like that. Obviously, they got Keenan Allen too, and I think they got another guy,
Rome
Aduze, with the 9th pick. So they're gonna have some offense, dude, and I think they got a couple running backs too. So if he can stay upright,
But that's my big thing too, because Keenan Allen's come from the Chargers as a number one. DJ Moore was a number one. I mean, how do you play that offense? You know what I mean? I mean, they're obviously both extremely talented. I mean, I feel like DJ Moore can play more of the slot than Keenan can. Maybe Keenan, because I know Keenan played a lot of slot in LA too.
I would think Keenan might be, because DJ Moore's younger. I think he's a little more athletic these days. Not trying to like shit on Keenan Allen and say he's not,
But
like
Rome too.
top guy, but
season,
I think he might. I don't know. Did he get injured too? Like
towards the end.
yeah, and
But he was
age
killing
might
it
catch
all
up.
season.
I think he'll take a little bit of a backseat, is what I think.
To DJ Moore, I think so.
Yeah.
But this is also why we're not an offensive coordinator in the NFL.
Yep.
We don't got to make these type of decisions. So.
But I mean, you guys are hitting the right, all the right key components of it. Like, he is younger, and Rome, he's freaking talented too. And they were saying just a week ago or so, or a couple of days ago, that they're clicking really well together. So that he, like we said before, Caleb Williams has all the weapons. If he fails, it's on him. And now you lock down another key weapon for him for for a little bit longer, so he can develop and
Will
continue.
the Bears QB curse continue?
I probably. Because
seen
Caleb
some-
Williams, not a winner in my book.
Not a winner. Not a winner.
Loser.
Actually, that works.
We're gonna some preseason clips of Caleb Williams recently, though, from their game that they had. What was it, last night?
Yesterday, something like that.
And I mean, he had a few good throws in there. I mean, he's the number one pick. He needs to obviously have a good arm to play in the NFL. But I mean, he was making some pretty bad decisions, though.
Yeah. Not surprised. Loser.
A few of the plays I've seen, I mean, like the receiver fully covered, throws in the defender right in front of the receiver the whole route. Caleb Williams stared him down the whole time and tried to throw at that receiver.
Damn.
Just straight,
It's like me and Matt.
extremely bad decision.
Good point.
I focused on A.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going A. Oh, shit. There was 3 guys.
You have a guy wide open, and you're just looking at that same guy the whole entire time, and that's what Caleb Williams is doing. So, moving on, let's talk about the defensive side. The Cardinals locked down and gave a 2-year extension to one of their linebacker, Xavier Collins. Gave him a 2-year, $14 million, and it's $11.2 million guaranteed. So, yeah.
No, I know he's a really good linebacker and a key part of their defense too.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing to lock him down. I mean, I know that he's had a little bit of trouble. I know when they had Hard Knocks a while back, he was one of the linebackers that was young that they had. He's been in the NFL for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And they were really expecting him to become that key linebacker in their defense.
For sure.
And, in Hard Knocks, you've seen his up and downs. The coaches talked about him. Is this really a good fit for us? I think it's a good fit for them now. I think he's definitely grown to make those good decisions in the league.
For sure.
So,
sounds like that linebacker in Wesley coming out, bro. He's defending this guy like no one's business.
That's not that expensive of a contract either, too. So that doesn't tell me like they're fully committed to this guy. Like I think that they want him around and they think he has potential, and he's going to have to prove it. So that hopefully he does.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of some more signings here, we got everybody's favorite kicker in the NFL. The Chiefs make Harrison Butker the highest paid kicker in NFL history with a 4-year, $25.6 million deal.
God damn, so his wife will never have to work, huh?
No. He did not. Oh no, he wasn't ready. Oh no.
All jokes aside, he's a dog. I think that you could say maybe top 2, top 3 kicker in the NFL. I think Tucker's still the best.
Justin Tucker and
definitely up there, and Chiefs continue to get even better, and they can lock down a kicker that very important to have a good kicker. Makes or breaks the game sometimes. Obviously you need a guy with a good leg you can trust. So
sure.
good pick, good signing for the Chiefs.
I agree.
Fucking unfortunately, but.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that with all the offseason stuff that that has happened to him, that's set aside. He's a great player. Like all that attention aside, he's a great kicker. You want a kicker because, like you said, make or break sometimes. The Cowboys got screwed when Mr. Maher. He did his thing. You gave that guy a big contract.
Just remind everyone, how many did he miss that game?
Was it 4?
Not 1, not 2, not 3. I think it was.
I think it was 4. So he turned into a LeBron James and said, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4, bro. I was so pissed at that game. So this is just another example of you got to secure those kickers when you have them. So
they're very important.
I'm glad you talked about the Cowboys because it's everybody's favorite segment. Shitting on the Cowboys and Jerry Jones time, baby. So let me tell you the new kind of update. Obviously, we've talked about CeeDee Lamb in detail and his whole situation. So he continues to hold out. And Jerry Jones said a few days ago that he thinks they're getting great work done with CeeDee's contract and doesn't feel any sense of urgency. And you know what CeeDee Lamb said to that? Tweeted, LOL. So I don't know, buddy. You think we should trade him to the Patriots or something? I think might be done.
No, I don't think that they're gonna. I don't think they trade him. I think Jerry Jones is just Jerry Jones, stupid. So he likes to make sure things are about him and not about the team. He wants to make sure that everybody knows he's in charge.
Yeah.
And it's stupid stuff like that. How do you not make this urgent? This is your guy. You should be going to get him signed, whether it's giving him money like we talked about this, money like Justin Jefferson, or close to it, because that's what CeeDee Lamb wants.
Yeah.
And then after that, you go after Micah. And then after that, you go after everybody else. And then what's left, you'll see if we can give Dak a contract. But
Spice coming around, maybe.
It's just
a little bit.
But that's after, which we won't have much. So.
See, but that's the thing too. From what I read from the article on ESPN was that what I took from it is that Jerry Jones was almost mocking CeeDee Lamb a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely feels that.
Because he basically came and said, he's like, you know what? Everybody likes to feel like they're missed.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb, we miss you out on the football field, okay?
Yeah.
and then continues to go on and says, we don't need you out there on the field right now. So, but if this is your thing of making us feel like we need to have a sense of urgency, it doesn't.
Oh.
That's what I kind of felt like Jerry Jones kind of said to CeeDee Lamb in this whole instance that's been going on for the last few days.
Yeah, and he's walking it back sometimes. He's like, oh, no worried, not worried at all. We'll get it. But then now it's actually, CeeDee, we really care. And it's Jerry Jones, baby.
Yeah.
It's Jerry Jones.
I mean,
I said, I think he'll die, and before he does, and the Cowboys will never win a Super Bowl because of him.
I think Talbot might want him on.
I think I'll pass him this one.
Okay. He said, "Nah, I don't got next."
I take CD though.
No, Derek Carr is trash.
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
don't get Kyle Starr. No, it's okay, buddy. It's okay, buddy. We know that's a hot button for him. It's okay. It's okay. No, I hope that they get a deal done. I think that there is definitely a sense of urgency. I think Dak doesn't have the season that he has without CeeDee Lamb. That's period. Who else was his number one target? Nobody else. Tolbert was coming around. You had people coming around that you thought weren't going to do too well. But CeeDee Lamb is this guy. This is our receiver. We need to get him paid. And whatever happens with the quarterback situation, CD Lamb's going to be CD Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to trade him away, go ahead and do a straight trade. Maybe you get this is something we talked about, right? Maybe he does something ironic and he gets Brandon Ayuk for CD Lamb, which would be
You just had to bring up Brandon Ayuk, didn't you?
But that's the thing too. Before we. Because there's Brandon Ayuk.
We're ready to talk about some Brandon.
Brandon Ayuk news every damn week. I feel like. But I want to say something. I just don't know if Dak is the problem because think of every top quarterback in the league. Besides maybe Patrick Mahomes, but he has Travis Kelce.
You're right.
Travis Kelce attracts defense, right?
Yep.
So all the best quarterbacks and Swifties. All the best quarterbacks in the league have a number one receiver, right?
Yeah.
And so when you look at it that way, yeah, of course Dak's not going to do the same without CeeDee Lamb.
Right.
CeeDee Lamb could probably play with anybody, but it's still the exchange of quarterback to receiver. Somebody needs to be at least good, if not really great, in one of the two positions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just don't know if Dak would technically be the problem in that situation.
Regardless of what it is, I think you got to get CD Lamb paid, and you give him what he wants because he'll be around for a while, and so. Or like I said, let's go ahead. Let's hit that hot button, Brandon Ayuk. Right? You go and trade better for Brandon Ayuk, and you give them CD Lamb and do either a straight trade because I think CD Lamb's worth more than Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah,
I think
and so you get a couple of maybe draft picks, and so. But Brandon Ayuk, they had some trades ready and lined up for it. So the Browns and the Patriots had trades ready for him. Actually, the Browns had Amari Cooper involved in that trade, which I feel so bad for. But three-way trade, actually. Amari Cooper comes back to the Cowboys.
Okay. And then what? You give up?
Not CD Lamb.
Set him the wrong pick, maybe.
But, and it was up to Brandon Ayuk. They gave him. They said, you decide on which team you want to go to.
That was the fucking thing. Because last week it was just, I swear, one day it was guaranteed he was going to the Patriots.
Yep.
The Browns kind of pulled out. The Steelers had been connected. They were apparently not in the trade. It was just the Browns and Patriots.
Yeah, they pulled out of the trade talks too.
And the Patriots had the offer lined up. The Niners were going to deal it, and we were going to make him a top 5 paid receiver. We already had the contract ready and everything.
I think it's at 34, 35 million a year.
Yeah, that was 32, but yeah, something like that. $30 million a year, and he
just north of 30.
He said no. Still not enough to make it. Patriots suck. We would have got him though.
He said, who are the quarterbacks? And they said, blah, 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 blah. I'm good.
And first-year head coach,
And he said, I'll pass.
He could have been so good, man. It would have been perfect. But what's going on now? Because now, the Patriots are officially out of it, and the Steelers are back in, apparently.
Yeah, dude, it's been a fucking roller coaster. I just, at this point, how much is all this worth? You know what I mean? Because they've been going for 2.5 months now.
Literally.
You know what I mean?
He's going to stay in San Francisco. He's going to get traded. He won't play. He won't practice or whatever. And then he's doing it. And I even saw another report just before we started it. The Niners are really confident in keeping him in San Francisco. Is the newest report that I've seen.
But that's the thing too, right?
In 3 days, maybe he's definitely going to get traded. You know what I mean? So we'll definitely have more news to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we will all the way up until the first week. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's going to be Brandon Ayuk news all the way up to the first week. But I mean, the Steelers out of the talks. They originally, when this whole thing started, Steelers were in the top of the trade talks. They said that, Brandon Ayuk, Mike Tomlin, they have a good relationship.
They look the exact same.
They do look the exact same.
So
it's like
weird.
a fucking carbon copy, bro. It's so weird.
Long lost son, maybe.
But then also, this whole thing has been dragged out, I think, way too long.
Yeah.
It's just, it's it's pushing to a limit where it's the 49ers are done talking trade. They're done talking contract.
And
I'm
the
sure
other
that
teams
the
are
other
sick
teams,
of it.
The other
Yeah.
teams are starting to get sick of it too. But at that same thing, like the 49ers want a receiver back.
Yeah, and that's the Patriots. We're going to have Kendrick Bourne lined up in that trade, who's probably our number one right now, but obviously not like Ayuk. It was going to be Kendrick Bourne and some picks and whatever. But that's what sucks too, is that like now, because I know Bourne didn't practice the day, I think before or after, like it came out that the Patriots had the trade lined up.
Yeah.
Like he didn't practice, and what if you pissed him off now? I don't really know. I haven't heard anything, but like I feel like you can't be too pissed in that situation because one, you're going to go to a team that could very well win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
He's already been there. He's played with Kyle Shanahan, and I feel like you're self-aware enough to know that you're not Brandon Ayuk. I think he's a great receiver, maybe pretty good is his category, but now it's like pissing that off and extending that, and the teams, the chemistry, everybody's trying to get, working together and on the same page. When you have something like that, it's hard. And let me just keep going off on my Patriots soapbox thing because I know we've already talked about Judon. So there's an update on him. So there was a video like last week of him and Mayo getting into it on the field.
Nice.
I guess he wasn't like terrible, but like Mayo's kind of pissed, and I kind of understand it because when you have the hold-ins and you're not participating, but you're like, in the building, but not out on the practice field, or if you're watching at least like your position group or the defense or whatever in particular, and he was just like dinking around sitting on a trash can, like not even watching or anything. And so I think Mayo was like, get off the field if you're gonna like be openly disrespectful about it, which I kind of like from my coach. But apparently the next day they had a talk, they got it all like aired out and everything. Judon even apologized, but he's still without a contract. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get him. I mean, we have fucking cap space, and we didn't pay Brandon Ayuk, so we have it, so pay it. I mean, we just got David Godchow, who I was telling you guys about, 2 years, 21 mil. So like that. And then I really love the other roster move we just made. We cut Juju Smith-Schuster, baby. Let's fucking go.
Free agent now, huh?
Yes, sir.
$25 million,
To the
I think
Saints.
it was.
There you go. He'll be the number one. There you go. You're set now.
Derek Carr, Juju, who else could be over there?
Who's on Steelers who has said he's top 5 receiver and now he's not in the league anymore?
Antonio Brown.
Well, Antonio Brown was,
No.
and then it was
No.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
One more.
One more?
Pickens,
There's
Deontay Johnson.
Deontay Johnson.
Nope.
Those have been the top receivers the last
Clay.
Chase Claypool.
Chase Clay.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Bears prodigy, too. Oh,
He's playing in Canada now.
is he really?
Yeah, he's out of the league. Yeah.
He's playing in Canada.
Like
wow.
the year he said, he's like, yeah, I'm top 5. People will see.
I guess if you're like distracted by TikTok all day, it doesn't help with your football.
And you're also distracted at practice with all the loud music playing.
I think he went to the Bears. And
Oh man,
Wow.
he was
I
on the
did not know
Dolphins
that.
last year, and I think he never played, got cut. Now in Canada of all. Ugh, I don't even want to talk about that.
Do you want him on your team as well?
Him, Juju, and AB. We'll just take them all.
Oh,
We'll start the dream team.
Problem child
We'll
steal.
start- yeah,
Problem is, I don't think Antonio Brown will.
Yeah, might as well.
There you go. I don't think Antonio Brown will wear clothes though.
That's okay. We'll start our rebuild.
When you go to-
solid
when you go to-
cornerstone of crazy.
When you go to Tampa Bay, he could be up in the hot tub at the stadium.
No, Jacksonville, right?
No,
And
it's
that's
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville with the pool or whatever.
Yeah.
Just laying it all out there, in a different way, not on the field or anything.
And
but
then
just laying
Derek
it all
Carr,
out
and
there.
then Derek Carr can miss another pass.
I love this, dude. I don't even have shitting on Derek Carr
all of a
today.
sudden, Wes turned on the hotline button for himself for Derek Carr.
Yeah, maybe we just sign AB to like give advice to players.
There you go.
Oh.
Well, good, like a coach. You could definitely be like,
a counselor, maybe even.
A counselor. You
Then
come
you
to
can
him
get
for
the-
advice, life decisions, making big decisions.
You definitely get the CTE ESPN.
There we
Boom.
Get that
go.
type of analysis.
You might as well make it into a reality TV show.
That's the only reason
Money.
anybody
That'll
would
free
want to
up cap
watch.
space. Then we could hire more people.
I think that's the only reason you'd want to watch the Saints, anyways. That's why they made that.
Ask
movie
about
with
it is what it's going to be
James
called.
This is what the
AB. Ask about it.
the other one. It could be a CTE Brown. No, CTE ESPN. No. What was I thinking of, man?
You lost.
Like you have CTE. I don't know.
I had it for some. I do. I played football for a long time.
CTE.
Speaking of good wide receivers, let's move along, and not even just the best wide receiver in the league, the best player in the league, according to peers. Tyreek Hill is the first wide receiver ever, and I feel like the first non-quarterback in I don't know how long, to be the best player in the NFL. What do you guys think about number one for Tyreek Hill?
You know I've always been a big fan of Tyreek Hill. I'm a Tyreek Hill rider. So I've always liked him. I thought that he deserved this position.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's shocking for him to be number one a little bit, but at the same time I'm like, the guy is scary, dude.
But
like
also, you see the season he put up.
Yeah.
Last
Almost
season.
had 2,000 yards if he wasn't gonna get if he didn't get injured a couple of games.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
probably
fantasy
would've had it.
football fucking nightmare.
Yes.
Yeah.
Had him in one league, and very fun. Very, very.
It is just
Even makes
crazy
Tua
that
good enough to play.
people can know the route he's running, and he's just
He's
so
still gonna
fast
get
and
you.
shifty that he will.
Yeah.
Tua will toss it
I
up.
just
and,
whenever he's like,
he'll get it. He'll get it.
he's
He's
so
nuts.
crazy with all the attention that's paid on him, and he will end up with nobody else in the camera.
Yep.
Like, I'm like, how does that even happen? I
Yeah.
get like fucking put 7 guys on it if you need to. I guess just cover the entire
The
fucking
whole
field,
secondary with on him.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Didn't the Chiefs just get a player that's faster than him, though?
but-
What's his? Yeah.
Or
He,
the existing-
he's the
combine.
in the
fastest.
combine, yeah.
Well, he is the
Faster
fastest.
than
Yeah,
But
he
now
is the
Xavier
fastest
Worthy
man.
is now the fastest guy in the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe I'll have to set up another race that he loses to Micah Parsons. Remember when he
Yeah.
Micah
lost?
Parsons? Yeah. He like didn't even like try.
Micah Parsons
Like,
said, "I bet I could challenge." And he challenged him
it
to
was
go
like at
race
the
him.
Pro Bowl or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's the
one
thing
year.
too. Like linebackers are stupid fast because Ryan.
Micah Parsons is
If
fast.
you guys remember Ryan Shazier, he raced Antonio Brown and beat Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is that before
Back in
CT?
Antonio, that was back in prime Antonio.
Okay. That makes sense. 'Cause that Antonio Brown was good, but I mean, like I said, I think that Tyreek Hill definitely deserved it, especially when you compare him against players in this category. Like, if his peers are like that, that's a dog, dude. I can be looking at him, and next thing I know, I'm not looking at him. He's like,
He's gone. Well, speaking of things he deserves, a new contract is what you got too, right? It was like right after this, Dolphins like, oh, you're the best player in the NFL. Here's some money, I guess.
yeah,
So what they did was just restructure his deal. It wasn't like an extension or anything, but they're going to make him, I think, the highest paid. Or no, Justin Jefferson might be.
I think,
But
yeah.
$90 million over to the next 3 years with 65 guaranteed. So Tyreek's loving it down there in Miami, and he's going to be terrorizing the AFC East, unfortunately, for a few more years. So.
Especially Tua getting his contract, that
Yep.
keeps them together for a while. I'm sure Waddle's going to be next to get his. I think Miami knows who their guys are, and they're trying to lock them down as long as they can.
It's a scary group.
They just can't play in cold weather.
No, no.
Not even a chance. Dude. That was like the only playoff game that I didn't even like. We had it on, but didn't bother watching.
That's
it. This
insane
is
to me.
terrible.
Yeah.
And it's Miami and Kansas City. Should be so good. Like if that was in Miami, would have been a banger, I think for sure. But
Should have switched it.
let me give you the rest of at least the top 5 for now. So Lamar Jackson at 2,
Okay.
which is not that surprising when you
Okay.
win the MVP.
Whoa! Keep going.
CMC at 3.
Should have been 2.
And this is my biggest problem. Patrick Mahomes at 4. I get those other guys up ahead of him are dogs, but come on. Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL right now.
No, I
He's better
actually
than Lamar.
no, I actually agree. Who won MVP?
He's better than Lamar.
Who won
Super
MVP?
Bowl.
It don't matter who won
the Super
MVP.
Bowl MVP.
Okay, but that's
Who
one.
won the
Yeah,
Super Bowl?
that's one game. Who won the regular
Without
season
a receiver
MVP?
that could actually catch a ball too. The Chiefs. They drop balls all the time.
Yeah, Lamar
What about
doesn't even
Rasheed
throw the ball.
Rasheed
He-
Rice was there.
He was. He led the team in drops. That was the weirdest thing. I didn't understand.
Rasheed Rice?
He was still like the number
Because
one
he was
there.
targeted the most.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
But-
nobody else could catch a ball. So
Yep.
he got.
Here's my defense. I think Lamar Jackson's better. He had a better season than Patrick Mahomes.
I think overall season.
Yes,
Sure.
and that's why he was the MVP. And I think that the way they were doing it is Christian McCaffrey had a great season. Lamar Jackson had a great season. Patrick Mahomes had a great season. But when you look at stats wise, maybe they went more off of stats too. Those guys
Maybe.
dominated it.
I also think too, it's like the LeBron effect where they just don't
That's true.
want to give it to him every year, basically.
because he could
They're
win
not
it every
giving him
year.
An award. He's not number one.
I mean,
He wasn't.
same, like I feel like that's
That'd be
why.
number two.
A lot of people. I did hear something like a lot of players like put him down at like 98 or something just because they hate the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. So maybe that's what fucked up his like average or whatever and put him down to 4. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely get your points though. I still think like it's like he's the new Tom Brady in my eyes, where he's like I think without a question the best
Face
like,
of the league. For sure.
Yeah, exactly. And like maybe didn't have the best season. You know, like Tom Brady didn't win a lot of MVPs. Like I think Peyton Manning has more. He got Tom Brady had 3. I want to say Manning had 4. You know, and he didn't win it every year. But he also, and because he didn't have as good of statistical seasons, but
Right.
they also like he would have a lot of seasons where the Patriots would really pound the rock, and that's
Yeah.
what the Chiefs did last year. It's like the first time that they really prioritized that running game. So I think that's kind of the thing. But I get what you're saying. I get what you guys are saying too.
I just think that offense runs through Patrick Mahomes. I think that they did. Yeah, Pacheco definitely carried the load on that. But I think ultimately it was always going to be Mahomes. Whatever he can change the play, he can do. Andy Reid gives him the freedom to do everything. So I just think that I like the way the order is. I think that it came through the way it's supposed to be. Tyreek Hill being the scariest, Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, great season, and then Patrick Mahomes. You could give it to him every year, but these guys just had a better season.
statistical season for
So
sure.
that's
And who had the best on the defensive side is number 5,
okay.
Myles Garrett. Love that.
Defensive
Love
player of the year, baby.
Mm-hmm.
What's who won defensive player of the year?
Myles Garrett did.
I just want him to say it.
I don't think he will.
That's gonna say it.
Right below him is Chris Jones at number 6, dog.
Another defense.
Trent Williams at number 7.
Okay.
Might even be a little low. A lot of people like talk about him as the actual best player in the league, but just because it's not a flashy position,
Trent Williams.
because how good he is at left tackle. I mean,
Dude,
when
no,
they
but
freaking put him in motion shit, dude. It's like, come on, like that's insane. And finally, all the way down at number 8, T.J. Watt,
all the way down at number 8.
Travis Kelce 9, and Max Crosby 10.
I just don't understand why.
Soapbox.
I don't.
Go ahead.
Too much.
Soapbox. Soapbox, sir.
I just don't understand why people disrespect TJ Watt so much. You know what I mean? Like, there's just like,
Yeah.
and you guys give me shit. You like to give me shit about the Myles Garrett stuff,
For sure.
But you just talked about stats with Lamar Jackson. Who the fuck had better stats
Probably TJ Watt.
in every category?
But Patrick Mahomes, best player.
I'm not
He didn't
saying it.
have
I'm not
stats.
saying that he needs to be up there, in the
Where would
mix
you
of the
put him?
top 4
What would you put him?
above Myles Garrett and Chris Jones.
But you can't put him above Myles Garrett because Myles Garrett is the defensive player of the He shouldn't have. All seriousness. He should not have, right?
I saw you back up.
All
You
serious.
thought Hunter. You thought Wes was going to get
No. He's about to go TJ Watt on me.
I
But
understand
all
that he won
seriousness.
Defensive Player of the Year. I do.
Right.
There's no why. How did he win it?
Yeah.
TJ Watt beat him in every
Popularity?
single standard. How?
That's the only thing I can think of. Popularity, maybe.
Impact.
Maybe
Impact on the game.
If
He
TJ
got blocked a lot.
This is
a lot more.
This is what's insane to me. We saw the stat a couple years ago with TJ Watt, where it was like The Steelers are 0-6 without TJ Watt on the field, and they're like 7-5 with him on the field, or something like that.
He's probably even a little bit better too. I feel like
it's definitely probably better. But TJ Watt comes into the game. It seems like every single game he's in makes a huge play that shifts everything in the game.
Yeah. Always, and
Steelers,
in multiple ways. It's not just like one faceted as a pass rusher. Like he's very athletic. Like you were telling me, they drop him into coverage all the time. He gets those crazy like jump picks. All like he's a fucking dog and an athlete. And I think too, the best defensive player in the league right now. But yeah, I think even J.J. Watt said it, like what I said about Patrick Mahomes, like that he's the like. They just don't want to give him the award every year.
That's what I said.
Thinks it's bullshit.
That's what I said on the last podcast. Was that he's like LeBron, you know, with the Defensive Player of the Year award. They can't give it to him every year,
right?
But when you're statistically better than every other player at the defensive end or outside linebacker position in every single category,
right?
I just don't know how you don't give it to him then.
Tell him, Hunter. How do you tell us? How do you give it?
And he was the lead sack. He was led the league in sacks last year.
Is he better yet than J.J. Watt?
TJ?
Mm-hmm.
Better.
You think so? What about you, Hunter?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I think a lot of things, though, it's recency bias, right? Obviously, remember when freaking JJ was...
JJ is healthy?
When JJ was in his prime, no doubt. One of the best defensive players at that time.
Yeah.
But TJ Watt is just so much more dynamic.
Consistent. I think that's what it comes down to, consistency, and I think TJ Watt.
I think JJ has said that TJ's better, too.
JJ has said it.
Derek
Watt,
about Derek.
the fullback.
That's what I'm going for.
That's who's better.
Is he still on the Steelers, or did he get cut?
He didn't get cut. They just didn't re-sign him.
Oh, okay. So he's a free agent?
I believe so.
Well, he's at home cooking.
Well, any other thoughts on that top 10 list?
Nope.
Any other players? Any surprising? I think no Patriots make the top 10.
Max Crosby.
That's not surprising. Not surprising at all.
He thinks Tom Brady's still playing.
I think Judon was like the only one, or maybe there was two last year. I think that we can get a couple, though. Like if Judon plays and stays with us, and then another guy, Christian Gonzalez, he stays healthy, bro.
Oregon cornerback.
I think he could be one of the best. So
yeah.
I know Aaron Rodgers. He's 92. He got ranked the 92nd best player 92. Last season.
He didn't even play.
His highlights are him running the flag out. A legit on NFL's thing.
That's hilarious. That's actually hilarious.
Talk about a highlight. I mean, I like you guys said, I don't have any big problems. I think Max Crosby was a little bit of surprise for me at the top 10.
Dude,
he was killing it.
Got a motor.
Yeah. He does.
He plays like every snap, dude. And a very tiring position.
98% of the snaps, I think, on the field. And he doesn't stop.
Doesn't slow down.
I guess when the Raiders suck, it's easy to look good from one player's perspective.
I think it's easy to look past him because the Raiders suck.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's a fair spot. When you look at the guys ahead of him, I don't know.
I love
you can maybe put him over Kelsey like last year. Like Kelsey didn't have a
what did Kelsey do?
I mean, he still was the best.
He commands
tight end.
Popularity,
defense,
Swifties.
He commands the attention of the defense.
Yeah, Swifties are probably.
And he also made the NFL a lot of fucking money last year.
Yeah, yes, sir. I just hope this year we don't get every other clip of Taylor Swift.
I think there was a drinking game for.
Yeah, I think they did make it into.
However, in the Super Bowl,
at the end of the day, they got to do what they got to do, and there's no reason not to, because all it literally does is bring in more eyes. I mean, at the end of the day, you see. I think even like her worst, they went through and looked at like her airtime, and I think it was like 1 minute and 10 seconds. Like that was the biggest game, like total, or something. So like I don't know, but. No other thoughts on the top 100? Any other surprising players? I don't think the Saints made it on there either. So
Saints,
nope,
didn't make it there.
Cam Jordan probably didn't make it on. Not
Has Cam Jordan ever been in the top 10?
Top 10?
I don't know.
I don't think he's been in the top 10.
I know he's been on the top 100.
Yeah, he's definitely been on top 100.
I just don't know how high.
But it is crazy that there wasn't a whole. It's like a mix of everything, right? It's heavily dominated by defense, but only one receiver in the top 10. You think of JJ, and you think of
Justin was injured. Like I think he was on IR for
3-4
like
weeks.
8 weeks,
Oh, was he?
I think.
Are
He
you
was out
talking
for a
like
while.
the top 100 in total, or just
I think just the top 10.
Top
That's what he was saying.
100 or top 10?
10?
Sorry.
The top 10 is mostly offense.
What was it?
Just had to correct you there.
Maybe you should use that correction to make sure TJ Watt gets his
He should.
defensive player.
He should, and everybody agrees with it too.
I don't.
Myles Garrett's a fraud.
I don't know if I'd say that, but hey, boys, this was fucking fun. I'm glad we got this. We, like I said, we've been in St. George golfing. You guys, Hunter and Feist won the Scramble tournament.
By one point.
By one stroke.
Call us
One
pro
stroke
golfer,
short.
baby. We're ready.
Anyways, we'll catch you on the couch on the other side, and we'll get into some basketball. Alrighty, Feisty, let's get into some basketball, baby. We got a lot of stuff to talk about because obviously we've been, keeping up with the Olympics and everything.
Yeah.
I know that the last time we talked, we were still in group play for the men's. We actually killed South Sudan instead of just beating them by one.
Right.
The second time we played them, I think we played Serbia again or Puerto Rico, and we killed them. So
Yeah.
that set up a quarterfinal matchup against Brazil. Now, Steve Kerr, and let me read the quote because I want to make sure I get this right. Is wary of Brazil due to their physical size and their shooting. So he was like, I'm not worried about it all. Fucking killing one dude 87. Like, come on, it's Brazil, bro. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, we had a great game. I can't remember. There was really a guy in that game that went off.
I think they all
kind of the whole team.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got.
I think that's the one that's the one Steph struggled.
He's kind of been struggling.
He was 1-5 from downtown and just did not shoot any. Like, he wasn't shooting well. Like, he struggled that game really, and it wasn't because they were playing good defense. He just couldn't shoot.
Yeah, he just can't. And he was struggling for sure. I feel like the whole tournament too. And that one was a really bad one. But yeah, like I said, we killed Brazil, and that set up a third match with Serbia.
Right.
And boy, was I getting so pissed because we could not stop a cold to save our life. Like, we could not stop anything. Jokic was hitting off. Bogdanovic was going off. And speaking of Curry, he was the only reason we were even not down by 40 in the first half. Motherfucker, I think he had 23 and 7 threes in the first half.
I don't know if you remember, I texted you too, and I was like, bro, what is going on with Team USA? They're getting killed. This looks really bad. I was about to start getting on the Noah Lyles train and be like, world champs for what?
Exactly, right? It looked really bad. I think we were down about 18 was our biggest. And then Embiid and Booker were also going off.
Embiid was cooking.
Yeah.
He was doing some nasty mid-range, and he's playing really well under defense. I'm still not the biggest fan of him. Cameroon, but it was
nice.
Like
him in France too either. He got booed every time he was on the court, or got shown or something because he could have played for France too.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
I think, like you said, Cameroon would have made the Olympics, so he wouldn't have played. So I can see that France made, but I mean, come on, it's Team USA. Got to play.
He said, who do I have the best chance at winning gold with? Cameroon, France, okay, maybe USA, easy.
The problem is too, I think we were talking about it. Where do you put him, and where do you put that rotation? So many big guys already. You know? So, glad he chose Team USA. He did kind of struggle, I feel like, at times, but he's finally picking it up there towards the end. And
they had that good rotation too.
That we came back.
Right. They had a good rotation. Bam was kind of doing really well on the defensive end. like you couldn't really put anybody on Jokic and keep him, guarded. Anthony Davis actually did pretty well too, playing really good defense. And then it was funny to see them do the Melo thing where they were all just kind of like,
bro, they wouldn't stop.
They were doing this, they were doing the Melo, like
did you
the
see
three.
Melo say anything to them?
No, I think it was just because he was the presence there, and like I think they just wanted to talk.
To somebody they picked
Talk
up.
the
Like,
talk,
how would unless Melo say something like.
I really didn't see anything, but it was cool because Melo ended up tweeting or Instagram posted it and said props to Bogdan and Bogdan and that whole team because that was a big scare for them. And
it was. I mean, like I said, 18 points was our biggest deficit. We made a run in the third, got to within like 6.
Yeah.
But then Serbia went off again, and we were down 13 going into the fourth quarter. And like we talked about, those quarters are short, 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
And running clock, I think, until the last 2 minutes.
Yep.
So those things go by quick. So, when we heard 13 or when I saw we were down 13 going into the fourth, I'm like, there ain't no way we're going to play in the fucking bronze medal game.
Well, that's because Daddy Braun came through. He actually ended up finishing that game with a triple-double.
Dude, and I think now he's at the most in Olympic history.
Yeah.
And Curry continued to pop off. He ended up with 36, I think.
Yep.
Or 38.
Yep.
And KD, dude, that was so cool to see, like, the old heads, taking over the game. It wasn't really Anthony Edwards.
It was like 1, 2,
Tatum,
3.
he finally played. But, yeah, it was those guys and Embiid. Got to give Embiid the credit. And, boy, we find a way to sneak it out, dude. We find a way to beat Serbia. So that was really cool. Yeah, and you said you had 36 points, 8 rebounds for Curry. Braun got the triple-double, so it was awesome. And then, that leads us into last night when we were watching that gold medal game. And, God, I just got to say, we started a lot better.
We started hot.
Way better.
Yeah, we were comfortable. Everybody was hitting their shots.
Yep.
It was more of a team movement thing, and it just felt really natural. I think everybody was just on the same page.
Yep.
Everybody was clicking. You had that first, breakaway dunk from Daddy Braun, of course, and got the crowd fired up. And
and some of those passes he was making.
Oh, that one nasty right behind.
Behind the back bounce, perfect cut. I'm like, dude, that's also why I would love if there was a way that him and Curry could team up because they are so perfect.
That was such a good
Braun is so good with the ball.
Yeah,
Curry is good Curry's good too, but he's so good off the ball. Maybe the best, in the league. And to have Braun passing it to him, bro, come on.
And we talked about that too. We're both kind of fantasizing about it. We're like, what if who's going to leave who? I mean, the Lakers, I think
that's the problem. I don't think either of them are going to.
But LeBron would probably have to leave, and I think he could afford to leave.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's because he's got 1 in 1 year
and stuff, and he's got all kinds of outside court stuff going on.
Yeah,
I would hope so, but yeah. And then it definitely got close. It was a good game. It wasn't like we killed France.
They came back.
Wemby was obviously popping off. For the first time in my life, I was shitting on Rudy Gobert just because he's playing for France. I was like, fuck France.
I do remember that. And then that Yasbuli?
Yeah, Yasbuli.
Something like that.
Yeah, he was going
popped
off.
off.
We couldn't stop him. And I was like, I feel like I recognize him. He plays in the league, right? And we actually couldn't think of a team. And then it was like
Boston. He played for 2017 to 2019. Right? Yeah, he barely played. Had average
he wasn't still in Boston.
Yeah,
it was just a few years ago.
It was 2017 to 2019 he played, and he averaged 2.3 points and barely any minutes. So and now actually there was rumors that they were talking about him having a buyout contract because he's playing for Real Madrid overseas, and everybody's like, well, this guy could be a good. Come off the bench, secondary.
I'd take him on the Jazz. I think he could fit in pretty well. And a dog.
So,
speaking of the dog.
Yep.
Of this game for sure. Fucking Stephen motherfucking Curry, dude.
Popped off.
Oh my God. What was it? 4 straight threes?
4 straight threes.
Just every time. And they could not guard him. And even when they did, that one shot over Wemby, bro. fading away.
Eiffel Tower, bro.
Like,
on
over
you.
Wembanyama. And Wembanyama wasn't like far away. He was right in his face. And I think there was either one or two other guys on Curry. And bro, we all got so hyped. I got out of my chair, ran, fell, sprained my wrist trying to catch me. Trying to catch
Oh,
myself.
that's why you said Curry hurt my wrist.
Yeah.
I do remember that now. That's funny.
So man, I couldn't contain my excitement. And watching the USA get that medal, dude. Let's fucking go. Gold medal. Helped us, like I said, we tied with China. That was a big part. And also the women, dude. Women played France, too.
Yeah, and they barely won today. Like, we were watching it. We didn't watch a whole lot of it.
Yeah.
But they barely won, which, they were killing teams.
Yeah,
they were killing teams and blowing people, teams out. And then France just kind of held them and held their ground. But that team is way too stacked, too. And they ended up pulling through.
Yeah, speaking of, I wanted to kind of list. I remember that. So 8 straight medals. That's a record for any sport.
Right.
So that obviously awesome. I think all time they're 78-3 in Olympic play.
This is the women's, right?
Yeah, the women's.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they won 61 straight games.
Wow.
And I was trying to think. There was something else too. It's just really impressive. Just like how dominant the USA women's ball has really been, even more than the men's, I feel like. For sure, obviously, we've had some screw-ups in past years, and that's why it was really important, and love that we actually got our team stacked with, pretty much our best players.
Yep. Yeah, Sabrina was on there, Asia.
Sorry, I meant, men's, because, a lot of people hadn't played in the Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
So
I see what you mean.
to see everything.
Yeah, and the thing is that 2012 team was super good. I think I've been calling this team the revenge team, but I think they're called the redeem.
Redeem. Braun called them the Avengers.
Oh,
that's what he said. The Avengers.
L'America said Captain L'America.
Captain L'America.
Wow.
Baby. Yes, sir. So I don't know. Did we miss anything on those Olympics? Yeah, the women's was the one to tie.
Oh, and then the 3-on-3, the women's took bronze.
Okay.
Men's kind of got destroyed.
Dude, that's what pisses me off. Is apparently it's it was really, there's a lot of stuff that they really created to make it so we didn't win too.
Yeah.
And the certain players that can play and the process you have to go through and stuff. Ice Cube actually talked about it. I watched him on the Pat McAfee show.
Okay.
And he's like, we definitely have the best 3-and-3 players because he's got the big 3.
Yeah.
And it's all the old heads from the NBA that just retired. Like Joe Johnson, I know Al Jefferson was in there. Gary Payton, I think, was in there. There's all kind. I think Gary Payton might have been a coach. He's obviously a lot older, but there's dogs in there. And what Ice Cube said is all expenses paid. Whatever team wins, gold. We would like to challenge you and raise I think he put in 100,000. Pat put in 100,000 for charity. Do a charity game. He's like, all I want to do is just an opportunity to show the world who we are, and if you guys beat us, awesome, great.
Sweet.
But we just want to prove it. So because I feel like we could kill it. And even Jimmer Fredette was the only guy I knew, but he didn't even play good, and then he got injured.
And I think he got injured too. So. But the women's did really well. My girl Haley Van Lee,
yes, sir,
killed it. She played really well, and then it's kind of that they won that last year with what's her name? She plays for Las Vegas, but they won it last year because they had
Asia Wilson or
no, not Asia Wilson's. It's the
I didn't really.
Anyways, and no worries. But last year they killed it, took gold, but this year they take bronze, and that's okay. I mean, we'll take any medals, and it's tough enough already to just compete in the Olympics.
Exactly.
You're not just competing against the U.S. that you're normally competing against. It's global, and it's keeping up to us.
It's definitely catching up. It's not easy. It wasn't even with the stacked roster we had. We had some scaries. I mean, in group play, we talked about it. Like I said, South Sudan beat them by 1. Germany was 4. And
they had a good team.
Australia was 5 or something like that. Yeah, Germany had a good team. They lost the bronze medal game, so they got 4th. But Canada was another. Canada's all NBA players. None of them are I think Shea's the best, and he played the best, but everybody else is kind of like mid, I would
Yeah.
say. They're not like great players. So Jamal Murray, if he's playing the Lakers, but he wasn't. So he was like, a lot of people were actually like shitting.
Pissed on him. Yeah, I did see that. Which
Any
I'm
other
I'm okay with. No, I mean, I think that was it. I think that those are majority of it. And I think it's good to see finally, Team USA back on top and to show the world this is the best. Like the best of the best is here, and
Yes,
I
sir.
love it. So I'm all for it.
Hell yeah. Well, let's get into actual NBA news. And I'm very happy today because our boy, Larry Marketing, is going to be a Jazzman, at least for this year. So
Okay.
he officially signed a 5-year, $238 million contract extension, which is the richest, I think, in Jazz history. It's obviously like he's the highest paid Finland player ever, and this is awesome because we've been talking about it. He's been definitely the center of trade rumors all year. I know the Warriors really wanted him, and we talked about how good Curry and Lowry could be in that pick and roll, pick and pop,
Right.
anything. So I'm glad that he didn't trade him. I didn't really never made any sense to me to trade him.
Yeah.
And I know we're rebuilding still, but that's a guy you want to rebuild.
Yeah.
And he's still young. So he did it specifically too. So he waited until after August 6th. Because I think if he signed it on August 6th, then he could have been traded at the trade deadline. But since he waited another day, it makes him, for whatever reason, makes him ineligible to be traded next year. So
That's awesome.
He definitely wanted to do that. He likes it in Utah. We love him here, so hell yeah. I think it's a great signing. I know it's very expensive, but
Yeah, I mean, and I remember when we had our buddy Sean on here, and I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. You build players, and then you let them walk, basically. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. You need a cornerstone. You need a player to make this team. You can't rebuild if you're rebuilding every year.
Right.
Exactly. You need somebody to build
start
off of.
And with someone.
And you have the draft stock for it, so you can keep rebuilding off of that.
Deontay George, I think, is a guy that we can also build around. He's just going to get better, I feel like.
Yep.
Get some more players, and we'd be looking good. Speaking of more players, it's not official, and it's probably a long shot, but I guess the Jazz are linked to Brandon Ingram.
Wow. That'd be huge.
That would be pretty nice. I think that, they could play together, him and Lowry. That would be a great guy to take the pressure off Lowry, too, offensively.
Yeah.
If
he's healthy.
Yeah. If we did trade him, it sounds like we have to give up Walker Kessler, which I think we already talked about. Like, I'm okay with. Like, I think Walker's a good player. He's a great guy for sure, and I think he's been great for Utah, but I just think he's not as good as we thought he might be.
Right. Which
maybe
is okay.
It's a sophomore slump, but for Brandon Ingram, I'll give you Walker Kessler, a couple picks or whatever. I'd do it.
Like we said, when Brandon Ingram is healthy, he can definitely give you 15, 20 points.
Oh, yeah.
So easily, if you're getting 15, 20 points, and then Williams' brother is in there too. Hopefully, he starts to develop like his brother did. So it's looking good for them, and I think I'm more happier that they kept Larry marketing because now you can build on it, and now you can see what's out in the market and start making moves. If you don't want to keep all this draft stock you have, use it to your power.
Yeah, right.
To get young players who are still developed. Yeah. So
but you had to build around something.
Yep.
I know you kept getting picks and guys got traded away, but it was because it's like the old regime. You had to get rid of James Harden. And Westbrook and stuff like that. And I know you might want to, but it was kind of time. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And like Chris Paul, we won't get into all that because I know that's a hot button, but...
Don't talk about Paul George. You can talk about anybody else. Paul George. Yeah.
I saw that you, speaking of other people got contracts, I saw you were wanting to talk about one.
Yeah, the Jared Allen. So he ended up getting a contract. It is 3-year, $91 million extension. So
we were just talking about that last time.
Yeah,
I think there were a couple times ago.
Who do they choose?
Yeah, they were going to choose somebody, and we thought they chose Mobley.
Right.
I still say they did, but it's surprising to get that contract as well.
Smaller
Mobley was
contract
like
still. Like
5 and 205 or something like that. Like he got the rookie max.
yeah.
So yeah, why would they sign out?
I think the rumors is now that they want to sign and trade. So they want to try to get some stuff. Oh yeah, they want to try to get something off of him. I don't know where he's gonna go or what teams were interested in
But
him.
usually those happen like right at that maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's hard to pay and not do the sign.
And he's on the older end of the
He's
spectrum
definitely,
too.
like, for Mobley, like I think you got to choose Mobley for
Yeah.
sure and pay him more like you did. But yeah, he's definitely getting up there.
Yeah, and they didn't say necessarily who else is going to be, like what teams are really interested in him, but Jared Allen's a dog. He's a great defender. He'll protect the rim for you.
I think it's a great contract. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
And he's worth it for sure.
For sure. So we'll have to see what happens with that move because I think that it ends up being a big move for the Caps to get maybe another player, a role player that they could get off of, and that a team that needs a big. There's always a need for big, especially a defensive-minded big. So
lengthy guy like that, especially the way the world is, with the Wembies, with the Yoke, stuff like that. It's a good guy to have to be able to at least do that. And I don't know, maybe that's the thing though. Maybe they do keep him, and you just kind of, you take his minutes down, maybe if he's fine.
Yeah.
And you use it because think it, when you saw for example, how to guard Jokic and stuff. Like a lot of times you can't, right? But if you have multiple centers like that, you can foul a lot more, and you can foul them at least,
and they can
try to stop it that way.
And then they're so lengthy that you don't need to be physical with them. You can actually just do your thing.
Play some good defense. So, well, let's continue with old heads. Our former player for both of our teams, but obviously I think
more for you.
Yeah, he's definitely more of a Jazz man. Gordon Hayward retired after 14 years.
Nice.
I think it makes sense, and he was definitely on the downhill. He didn't even play for the Thunder, right?
Nope.
That was so weird.
I think he played regular season, but the playoffs
he didn't.
Minute, not a single minute.
Even when he did, he was bottom of the rotation. So
which I didn't get, but I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. Why would you even? Because you made a decent trade for that. You gave up some assets. I can't remember exactly what, but
I don't remember either. But
you didn't even play him. I know his wife tweeted about it. I think just pissed at your coach or whatever.
Yeah,
or the Thunder in general, but. No, it's definitely. I think I'm sad to see him officially be done. I mean, obviously, Jazz fans have a very specific kind of history with him and the way he left and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I remember I hate it. I burned all his jerseys that I had and stuff like that. I was so pissed at him because literally, one, we could have paid him more, and two, we traded Ricky Rubio actually was because Hayward wanted Rubio.
Oh,
so
wow.
That's the only reason we went and got him. And obviously it ended up working out because Donovan was way better. But yeah, I know he got injured the fourth play when he first got there to Boston.
That was a nasty injury too. I don't know
the worst.
So for him to come back,
right? And he never really took off in Boston. I know he went to Charlotte. Charlotte was where he was kind of good. Yeah, and I think he
15 points.
Yeah, something. Maybe even a little more too. I'm not sure, but yeah, he just kind of was getting old. So good. Thank you for everything, Hayward. And congratulations on retirement. So.
Yeah, I think that it's it's interesting because even Sam came out and said that was a weird trade for the Thunder, right?
Yeah.
They're we don't really know why we picked that. And Sam's a great general manager, great-minded, individual who will get stuff done. But it was just a weird trade, and I think that even regardless, I think Gordon Hayward's a great player. I think he's very genuine.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna be.
I thought too.
Good vet for that really young team.
Come off the bench, take the second team. You could probably, and I think when we got him, I remember saying he can still get you 15 points, dude.
Yeah,
I believe that.
I remember us arguing about it. I didn't think so, but yeah.
And so it's just it was a weird trade, but I think he meant more to the Jazz organization. I think that it was unfortunate. I hope that he ends up. Do you think he comes back to the Jazz and gets something involved over there, or no? You think he's done?
I think. That's where you're going to remember him for his career because he didn't end up, doing much in Boston and stuff. But I don't think like he won't like retire as a jazz man or anything. Like didn't apparently.
Yeah.
Right? But like
But like
I don't think he
staffing
would
or
come.
anything either.
No, because I don't. That was the thing is I don't think he really ever liked it here.
Okay.
Like
Interesting.
he signed. I remember when he signed his extension, he was a restricted free agent. He actually did sign with Charlotte. It was kind of funny, but we could, so he went and got a deal, and then we just matched it and kept him.
Interesting.
And then obviously he didn't sign the next extension. He went to Boston and instead. So, but speaking, let's on the retirement train. But a guy who did retire, which I know we're very happy about it. Charles Barkley. Like I don't know if you call it unretired or he just decided against it, but he's not retiring, and he said he will plan to finish out the 10-year contract that he signed just a couple years ago with TNT. I think still that's his thing is he's still a TNT guy through and through, and that's what he'll do. So, but I think he did say earlier, like even if TNT gets it, I'm still retired. But now he's done doing that. So
that's good.
Chuck is back, baby.
Yeah, we'd love to see. I mean, that we know that how much that team means to us as in like listening to them and as the entertainment part of it. I think that it was a little bit kind of frenzy, a little bit where we're like, are they gonna stay together? Is anything gonna change?
Yep.
So I mean, I like Charles. I think he's funny. I think he makes watching the basketball games and halftime show and all that way better. So good for him. I think it's exciting to see that he's not retiring. I mean, finish out. I'll be there all the next 8 years watching it. So.
Yes, sir. 100%. Well, what a perfect way to end it on a high note. So thank you guys for joining us again. Be sure to check out the episodes on YouTube and Spotify, dropping every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Mountain Time. And then be sure to give us likes, comments, and follows on the Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. That's where we get our clips. And we actually did do a recording from the gold medal game. So we'll see if we have some good clips for you guys in there and try to see if we can show a little bit of that. Maybe when I fell. I know it's in there. So
and hopefully we'll get to do these more in-person stuff.
I know,
this was fun. This trip's been amazing. So I'm definitely looking forward to hopefully.
I would love it. Yeah, we'll have to see. I know you're actually living down here in St. George right now. So I know we're waiting to see on your situation, but whatever happens, we'll definitely still be there for you, and we'll catch you next time on the couch.